welcome to another episode of Turn Left. I am your host, Indiana's own Dana Black, coming to you live. Yes, all the way live from Black Pearl Studios, where we talk about Indiana politics from the left side of things. Welcome back to another episode of Turn Left. I am your host, Indiana's own Dana Black. Loving life right now. I'm getting, doing the show as a recorded show now versus a live show means I get to talk to just that many more candidates who are running for office. I'm telling you, I'm meeting folks from all over the state. I'm super, super duper excited about that. Now, today, I'm really focused on, and I have been focused on the State House because we need to end that supermajority. We need to, shift the power dynamic there because there are a lot of people causing a lot of damage around our state in multiple places by writing bad policies, and we don't have enough Democrats in office to combat some of that. So that's why I've been interviewing so many State House candidates, and I have another one for you today. Today, we are talking to Tyler Bridges, who's running for House District 11. Tyler, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So tell the people who you are and where you come from.
All right. My name is Tyler Bridges. I am running for Indiana State House District 11, which is in Northwest Indiana. So not the Northwest Indiana that you guys probably think of, like Gary and Hammond and whatnot. It's actually the rural part of Northwest Indiana, Lake County area. So it includes places like Cedar Lake, Lowell, Morocco, DeMont, Hebron, and Wheatfield. So very rural in a sense. And I'm really excited to be here, really excited to talk about my campaign, and I really appreciate you having me on.
Okay, excellent. So where'd you grow up?
Oh, yeah, I grew up actually in Lowell, Indiana.
Okay.
I actually am in my childhood home.
Oh.
And I graduated from Lowell High School. I went to Purdue Northwest in Hammond. Okay. I got my master's degree at IU Northwest up in Gary, Indiana. So I'm what they call a region rat, born and raised. And just been here most of my life. I lived in Illinois for about a year or two. So,
but then you came on back home.
Yeah, I had to come back home. So
have you always been interested in civic service and running for office, or is this, or have the times changed you?
So I'm a teacher. So I actually teach civics and history. So I think I've always had some kind of like interest in it. I grew up in a household where CNN and MSNBC was constantly playing with my grandfather. He was an FDR Democrat, old Democrat. And it was just kind of something that I was around and really liked talking about and really liked teaching about. Mm-hmm. And, one of the main reasons like I'm running is because in my district 11, we have a gentleman that's 83 years old and he has not really been contested in 8 years. So since he's been 75. And I always tell my students, I go, hey, you need to participate. I don't really care how you feel about something, but the idea that, I don't partake in politics is not a good thing to say. You have to, you are becoming an adult is what I tell them. And you have to care about something. And I always tell them to go out and do something. And I felt like I didn't do enough in 2024. So in the lead up, the end of 2025, middle of 2025, I was like, I want to get involved with the local politics, help people out. And then I realized we're not going to have another person run again. And I'm like, man, I'm a fraud. I can't just, in my own district, there's no one running. So I stepped up and I've been having some wonderful conversations with people. That's the best part of running for office is just like going door to door, going to events, talking to people. The local politics, that's the iffy side. But I've really been enjoying that part of the campaign and whatnot. So
you mentioned getting the opportunity to talk to people. What are some of your potential constituents talking to you about?
So right now, within District 11, there are 2 data centers that are potentially going to be put into the area. So it's a really big thing. that's been discussed lately. There's one that's going to be going in by I-65 off Route 2 in unincorporated Lowell. So the Lake County Council has been getting a lot of flack for their unanimous vote to approve the rezoning for the data center. So it's a huge thing. We got a petition going on right now. So if you find my Facebook page or go on my website, you can sign the petition against that. And then one in Wheatfield, Indiana, which is in Jasper County, NIPSCO and Amazon are going to be working together to build this data center. And a lot of people, we live in an agricultural community, so they're very worried about the effects that it's going to have on their animals, but also the environment and the Kankakee River, which is, these two are going to be right by the water that it's going to be using. So I've been hearing that, and I'm like, I can use my voice in my campaign to speak up for it. I think that's something easy. I know both political parties are kind of standing back. Well, the Republicans are wanting these, and Democrats are kind of stepping back from being against them. And I know why, but
yeah, because of the union labor to build them.
Yeah. And that's one of the things, like, if we're going to absolutely build them, I will fight to make sure that it's union labor. But I don't think we need to be changing agricultural land. We can build on already industrial land if we absolutely need them. So that's one issue that's really been big. And then another one is just like the affordability, which I know is the Democratic
talking point.
Yeah. But it's true. I mean, in these areas where I live in Lowell, it's a drive to a lot of places. We don't have all the things right next to us. So, groceries are high, gas is high, but also our electric bill. We have NIPSCO up here, and our electric bill, mine was double the price it was usually last winter from the previous winter.
Wow.
And, Governor Braun's IURC, they increased, just gave a thumbs up to a bunch of increases for the electric bills. And I think we need to fight against that and the transportation costs. So those are the big things that I hear from the constituents. And I love talking about that. But I also hey, in my own district, we're losing 10% of our teaching staff because of Senate Bill 1 from 2025. So I want to bring that up as well. And we obviously just need to change a direction and trying to get that out there,
So you said you're a teacher, and it seems it's probably a passion, because I think teachers are special, has a special calling, because I couldn't do it. What grade do you teach? High school?
I teach high school. So I teach juniors and seniors. Perfect. I teach AP Civics and U.S. History.
Okay. So when you're out, when you're talking to these constituents, because Lake County is relatively blue, but Jasper and this district that you're running in, they've been relatively red, and most of rural Indiana has been red. Are you able to connect the dots with the things that they are concerned about, and with the 20 plus years of Republican control and the policies that they're writing?
Yeah, I think it's just, so going back, I think sometimes Democrats have a messaging issue, right? And I think some of that was showcased in 2024. So in rural Indiana, I think it really comes down to messaging. And one of my favorite things is we got to link a lot of this stuff to workers, right? To showcase that, okay, if we fund our education, that is going to lead all sorts of different ways, right? I always say, okay, if you don't believe in our education system, let's reform it, right? Have tracks and different things, and and talking that way. But I think you just have to message it right is the big thing with these rural communities. So a lot of times, when I'm talking to them, they'll bring up talking points, right? The transgender issue or illegal immigrants. And I'm like, listen, I'll tell them how I feel. And then I go, all right, what about this? You haven't seen your representative. He's been home for 4 months. You haven't seen him. Your healthcare is going up. You're paying more for healthcare. Your rural hospital is closing. What is his plan for that? You can't even reach him. Oh, we're losing 10% of our staff. And really going, hey, let's think about these things instead of worrying about talking points on a national level. And a lot of them are like, you know what, you're right. I was like, yeah. And I think it's going to take multiple conversations with them to think about voting for me. But I think we just have to really hit home those things that are going to be affecting them quite a bit.
I think you know what, it's, you're not wrong in that our messaging needs to be better, but I think it also comes down to where you're campaigning, right?
Yeah.
I think you there's affordability is a conversation that everybody is having, but in one space, like here in Indianapolis or in Marion County, we already see who's causing the damage, whereas you're having this conversation of affordability in a place where they continue to vote for the people who are causing the damage. So what I'm trying to understand is like the policies, not just that this one guy that hasn't shown up and is not talking to you, but because you're, of all the people that we have as candidates, teachers have the unique ability to convey a thing differently.
Yeah.
Because people are going to talk about the 10 transgender athletes, right? There's 10. Woo, whoopee, right? 10.
Yeah, and that's a talking point, right? It's like,
when you are talking to them about the gas prices or losing their land or, worried about the Kankakee River, are you able to draw the line with Republican policies that have come out of the State House?
Yeah, I think so. So what I've been doing, especially on my social media, I do like a representative review. I don't do a lot of talking about my opponent, but on Mondays, what I do is I go, hey, you're against data centers. This is the bill that your representative supported. He supported House Bill 1333, which said that there is poor farmland in Indiana, and that poor farmland can be used for data centers without community input. Right?
Yeah, I saw that.
And when I'm talking, I will find what he voted for and what they implemented. Senate Bill 1 from 2025. Oh, we have to cut our services for firefighters. I'm by Hebron, Indiana, and they're talking about combining services for their firefighter services because they won't have enough money. So they might have to link up with another township or whatever it might be. And I tell them, I go, listen, if you're not happy about this, right? Senate Bill 1, they've passed this. We get less cut or less money for our services that we need. So I think linking it that way, and now a lot of policy talk will go.
But that's why I'm excited that I'm talking to a teacher, because there's a way for you, right? You know how to
simplify.
You know how to not just simplify, but stimulate the brain, right?
Yeah.
Because a part of the teaching science is about how do you. I'm not a teacher. I just be listening to Representative Vernon Smith, and he talks about how the teaching science allows you to learn how to tap into a person's brain. And so what are the responses from the folks? Does it connect with them? Does it click? Because here's the deal. You got to get votes from people who traditionally ain't voting for people with D's behind their name. And so I'm just trying to find out, is it resonating? Because I think we need more folk like you running and who are fed up of not having somebody on the ballot. Is it resonating? Are they getting it?
I can only say I hope so.
Okay, that's fair.
For so long in this area, we really haven't had a Democratic voice. And I think Democratic voices have reason. And I think personally, for me, I like to do evidence-based discussions. And at bare minimum, I'm glad that I'm having these conversations with these people, because it hasn't happened. I've knocked on doors and people have lived here for their whole life, and they're like, it's probably been 20 years since I've seen someone knock on a door.
Wow. So that's great.
My hope is that it is working, and it is something that is resonating with people and making them at bare minimum think about, okay, I vote for this person. This is what they're going to they're going to put forth. So,
all right.
yeah.
Well, I love the effort because, I live in, like I said, I live in urban Indiana. I mean, I live in Indianapolis. So I don't always understand how those conversations are happening because I'm not there. Right. And so it's always good for us to understand what the reaction is that you're getting. So every campaign has a series of issues or high level priorities that they want to highlight in their campaign. Can you give me at least 3 of the items that you're highlighting in your campaign?
Yes, absolutely. So number 1, I'm a teacher. So education. I think we need to reverse the voucher system in our state. There was a study that came out the other day. When it comes to the legislation, we rank 45th for public education.
Yep.
I think a lot of candidates are hitting this home, and I think it's a great thing that we are, because if we want to lead in this country as a state, we need to fund our public education.
Yeah.
Private schools are.
Can I ask you a question real quick? Because you're in the classroom.
Yeah.
How does it make you feel when they pass policies that say, okay, now you have to be a first responder. Now you have to be, you have to carry a weapon and to get gun training. And oh, by the way, I mean, all the extra stuff that they have put on you all, but I ain't seeing y'all get no extra money. How's that make you feel as a teacher, someone who's in a profession that they love?
Yeah, I love it. And I think teachers need to be paid more, obviously. One of the big things, I live right by the Illinois border. So I actually teach in Illinois because of the benefits and pay.
Interesting.
And I'm running because I think we need to keep teachers in Indiana. One of the things, we lowered the requirements for teachers within the classroom. Not saying that they're bad teachers or anything like that, but we need to make sure that the qualified personnel are staying within the state, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of going to other states so they get paid more, have better benefits, they don't have to get gun training or whatever it might be. And that's a big thing that I want to be an advocate for is, local communities should not have to pass referendums to keep their doors open or pay their teachers.
Right.
If it's a state's issue, like, our Republicans say it's a state's issue, then fund it. Yeah. Fund it. And if you're going to have the voucher system, which I don't think we should have, actually put standards on it. Okay, you have to teach to a standard. Well, I don't like teaching to standardized tests, but they have to teach to a standard. There's no maximum a person can make to get a voucher. So a millionaire, could get a voucher for their child. So if we're going to have it, let's set, a limit on you. If you make more than this, you can't get a voucher. Like those things.
You said something. You said something. I'm really curious. Oh, because you keep triggering my brain, Mr. Teacher. You said something rather interesting. You said you don't like teaching to a standardized test. Why? Yeah. Tell us why you don't like that. I'm so curious.
Yeah. So you go through college as a teacher, and like you have these educators that really push you to be someone that these kids look up to and that stimulates the brain. But for a lot of our educators, you're teaching like how to take a multiple choice test. You're not teaching them to be curious. You're not teaching them to be critical thinkers. Now you can do that, but you're still required. Here's where your box is. And teaching could be all sorts of different things. Teachers have all sorts of different strengths, and you're forcing them to be on this one lane. And I have taught a bunch of foreign exchange students, and I've also talked to teachers from other countries. And a lot of times, tests, if they give them, they don't have multiple choice. They don't have true and false. They have a standard that you got to reach, like knowledge wise. You showcase that you understand things, but it's not
regurgitating.
Like paste every single day. You got to have a new thing, and it's like we got to get through this because we have a test. Yeah, it's if the kids aren't really getting it, let's take a break. Let's break this down even further. Those kind of things, and that's where I think education needs reformed. We're working on a system that's 75 plus years old at this point. and it's not keeping up with technology. It's not keeping up with the retention problem that we're having in classrooms. All sorts of different things. Kids have information at their fingertips.
Right.
You know, they don't have to retain a lot. And I understand that. That's the society they're living in. So I'm not hating on them for that.
Right.
So how do we reform our education where we understand that instead of going, okay, you got to read this book and memorize if it's A, B, or C, you know?
Yeah.
So
I love that answer. And I'm sorry, I again, you're stimulating my brain in so many different ways. I am going to let you get back to telling your three reasons, but the point that I get from what you just said is that we have stopped looking at the nuance of education, and it's very, regurgitate this back to this piece of paper. And it sounds like even as teachers, you do as you're asked to do, but you're missing out like on a huge portion of what your skill set brings to the education space. Okay. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's
and we got to take those, we got to allow teachers to teach, man.
Yeah.
So it's, but other than that, so education's a big one. I want to really focus on it and be a voice for education if I'm elected in November. But I'm also
be a good one. I think
yes, thank you. But I'm also part of my local union as well as a teacher. So that's another one. I think in Indiana, a lot of our problems with people going elsewhere to work is, so I'm part of the NEA and the IEA, so both teacher associations over in Illinois. And a big thing about your organized labor is they protect workers, and we wouldn't have our 40-hour work week, our scheduled vacation time, all sorts of different safe workplace, all those things if we did not have them, right? And we live in a right to work state, and we need to get back to workers' rights. We need to, I want to push for, mandated paternal and maternal leaves, mandated vacation times, mandated increasing our pay. And I think if we brought back the power of the union in Indiana, we can get that achieved. All sorts of different things. So that's another one. And then my big one is affordability. So I didn't really say this, but I'm a father. I have a 4-year-old, and I live on a teacher salary. Okay. So I understand what young families are going through. I'm a single father, so I understand that the increases of prices aren't helping. But I also talk to a lot of my community. There's a 55 plus community I just talked to, and a lot of them are on fixed incomes. And Indiana is so focused on bringing all these businesses here. And I'm a Hoosier first, worker first kind of person. Those corporations do not make money if you do not have workers working their butt off. Yeah. Okay. And we don't need to be giving tax breaks and all this stuff. While people can barely afford to pay for their groceries, pay for their bills, pay for their electric, water, gas, and all those things. Let's go, okay, you know what? If you want to have business here, then we're allowed to tax you some, and we're going to provide benefits, provide, all sorts of different things for our constituents in Indiana, because Hoosiers, I love being a Hoosier, and Hoosiers are resilient, and they deserve a break, so they deserve a break.
I imagine, if the affordability conversation hits on so many different spaces, especially with what you're going through up there with NIPSCO and the gas prices and tariffs. Have you had any conversations? Have there been any conversations with a lot of any of your constituents in this rural area of Northwest Indiana that have talked about if their farms are in jeopardy because of national policies?
Yeah, I mean, look at why these farmers are selling their land to these big businesses for data centers. I mean, a lot of them can't afford to farm anymore. These tariffs nationally are taking away their market, right? And then they took away their market. And a lot of them also with their equipment, right? We have a very limited ability to repair our equipment here because of the right to repair laws. So we need to make sure that hey, we're providing grants and different things to allow them to make money, but also speak out against the president's tariffs as well. It is hurting farmers in Indiana. And I've had these conversations, and a lot of them are like, yeah, we're struggling. We're struggling. And I'm like, how? But how, in my mind, I'm going, then how do you continue to vote for it?
Yeah, and see, I
You
would
know,
ask that.
and it's no hate. It's no hate.
Right.
You have a right to vote for whoever you want.
Yes.
And I'm a civics teacher. I fully believe in your right to vote for whomever, and that is your personal thing. You vote for who you think. But for God's sakes, it's frustrating because I'm like, I want to help and I want to have these conversations and I want to, what could I do as a state legislator? Because I don't know much about farms. I didn't grow up on a farm. I lived in this rural community, but I don't know much, but I'll try. I'll work my butt off to do so. So
yeah, and it's gotta be frustrating for these folks to put so much faith in people that have just utterly let them down. And I have a feeling like I remember in 2016 when I was running and I went to a union hall and I was shocked and surprised by how many union hall trucks in the yard had Trump stickers on them at the time and all these Republican stickers. And it was like, these people are here to bust your union up. Like, and you are supporting them? Like, so I definitely understand the frustration, but at least you're trying, right? Now, as a teacher, you and as a civics teacher, this is even better. This is better. Yeah. When you are elected, you are still going to need to get support from the other side, right? It is what it is. I know people are like, no, it's all mine, no other way, right? That's not how it works. Tell us your leadership style and how you plan to, how you work with people who may not agree with you on a policy.
I think you got to listen first.
Okay.
I know that's hard. And I know a lot of people want to go out and say what they believe and say what they want to say. And, but most of the time when someone speaks first, then they're not listening afterwards. So especially since I'm only 28, I just want to listen and hear people out. Now that doesn't mean I'm like wishy-washy on ideas and my beliefs, right? It just means I think we have to be listening to each other. And it's a lot of just yelling, just trying to speak over people at this point.
Yeah.
And if you listen to the other side, you know where they're coming from. And I think you can hopefully speak to them about your ideas and what you want to bring to the table better. If you're understanding what viewpoint they're coming from.
I love it.
So a lot of the times, like we talked about earlier, is I hear people and I understand their worry and I'm like, listen, what I see is people, I want to ease what they're thinking about, but also redirect them. So you got to listen. And that's my leadership. I think if you're just going in there, just talking, that you're not going to achieve much. If you're listening to people and the ideas that are coming from the room in different ways, you might get there and find the medium where people on both sides could agree.
I like that. Listening, because I did an interview with Cherish Pryor, and when I drop it, I want you to get a chance. If you get a chance to listen to it, because she offers up some great advice on what to do when you win, because you're going to win, right? You're going to win. All right, absolutely. I got to ask you a fun question.
Yeah.
Tell us one of the funniest moments you've had as a teacher in the classroom. The look on your face.
Oh man.
Maybe you shouldn't. This is good.
I'll keep it because I don't want to throw any kid under the bus, but I'll keep it about myself. Just because kids are so awkward and kids they're learning about themselves, and I hope I give them the space to grow as a young adult. But one time, so sometimes I get angry within the classroom, right? And I'm yelling at these kids, and I step out, talk to one of them, and one of them comes back in, right? And all of a sudden they're giggling at him. right? And they're or not him, but they're all giggling. I open the door and they're all giggling because they were like, oh man, Mr. Bridges really yelled at us, huh? And sometimes they do those things, right? And I walk back in the room and I'm still furious, right? I'm like, these kids are laughing at me. They're being disrespectful. And I go to sit down and I fall right out of my chair, right? Okay. And at that point, I'm like, oh God, just how could I not laugh at myself at that point? Right. And I was like, you know what? Just chill out. It's gonna be okay. You get in that tone, and I think that's the universe telling me, dude, you needed to chill out in that moment, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not that person that gets mad very often, but it was just one of those days in the classroom, and the universe just told me, hey man, chill out, have a laugh. Sometimes you're not gonna get to what you gotta get to. So that was one of those things where I can make fun of myself, where something happened to me that I was like, oh gosh. And the kids talk about it to this day. The kids that I had in the classroom. Remember when you fell off the chair?
Because it's a memory. It's a memory.
Yeah,
thank you for sharing that. Because I want to thank you for being a teacher. Like I said, I could not do it. Nope, couldn't do it. But it's so good to have young people who really want to teach. We just need to give you the respect that you deserve, and pay and benefits, and supplies and all the other things that you need to do your job very well. And I always say, you can't have me work on an assembly line, but I got to go get all the parts and pieces to put the widget together. That don't even make sense. So thank you for being a teacher. Now, tell us in your words, in 30 seconds or less, why we should vote for Tyler Bridges.
Why should you vote for Tyler Bridges? Well, we have many of issues like education, the affordability, data centers, all things going on in Indiana. And where's your representative? I'm a person that will be in the community. I'm holding town halls. I want to hold town halls before and after I get back from Indianapolis. I want to be there for people. I should not be missing for 4 months, and I won't be missing for 4 months. You will see me knocking on doors. You will see me at events. You will see me out in the community where you can yell at me because, yes, getting yelled at is part of the job.
Yep.
Disagreeing is part of the job, and hearing people is part of the job. And that's why you should elect me, because I will be in the community fighting for you.
I love it. That's very good. Very good indeed. All right. Tell the people where they can find you.
Yes, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Act Blue, all of it at Bridges for D11. My website is bridgesford11.com. And we'd love for you guys to follow along. We just got over 1,000 followers. And speak about what you see Indiana should be going forward and whatnot.
I love it. All right. Tyler Bridges running for House District 11. Thank you so much for joining me on Turn Left. Guys,
thank you.
He gave an amazing closing pitch, and I wouldn't change much because he actually mentioned his Act Blue account. Okay. But I'm going to go one step further. Click on his donate link and donate $5, $10, whatever you have, or become a recurring donor. Because in order for him to be successful in this race, he has to touch his voters. And that means voter contact costs money, whether it's via mailers or buying water for his volunteers to go out and knock doors. So please, 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 in order for him to be as effective as he possibly can, he has to talk to his people. All right. So click his donate link. And he's a teacher. So maybe he could teach some people in the State House some things about bad policies that they continue to write, because we got to change it. We got to end that supermajority in both chambers. And Tyler Bridges, 28-year-old single dad of a 4-year-old teacher. That's somebody I would want writing policies, because he's going to be thinking about not only his future at 28 years old, he's got a long one, but his baby's future. Guys, that's somebody's going to be thinking long term. Think about that. So click on his donate link, find out how you can help him. Go to his Facebook page, go to his website, become a volunteer, and let's do all we can to help Tyler get into our state house. All right, Indiana's own Dana Black, thank you so much for tuning in. I will holler at you next time. Peace. Turn Left is the property of Black Pearl IT Solutions, executive producer, Indiana's own Dana Black. Music by Dorian and 22 from Pixabay.